I was so paranoid of becoming a boring person when I didn't drink.
I love being a boring person. I own it. I am a grandma in a 29-year-old's body. On today's episode, we have Jess Jackson from Good Living Only. We dive into holistic skin health and her journey with sobriety. I resonated with everything Jess said, and I know you're all going to love this episode. Welcome back to another episode of Self-Done Beautiful Humans, a safe place to learn and get inspired to live your healthiest and most fulfilling life. I am Dom, your host, and I feel so grateful to be living my passion by getting to interview inspiring and knowledgeable guests. Today is all about a holistic approach to our skin health. I have the incredible Jess Jackson, the founder of sustainable skincare brand Good Living Only, with me on Self-Done. In short, Good Living Only is a brand producing sheet masks made from natural coconut fibres, all natural ingredients, and they are 100% biodegradable. My favorite part about the sheet mask is that they have a QR code for you to scan, and then you listen to a meditation. You guys know I'm obsessed with habit stacking, and this is the epitome of it. I did it the other night with Tom, and we were obsessed. So welcome to the mic, Jess.
Thank you. That's so nice to hear.
You are a ray of light. We've just met actually, and
Don't tell me my secrets.
she's come in the door, and we have been yapping each other's ears off. And I thought we have to jump on the mic immediately because we're missing the good stuff. So you're a natural beauty.
Thank you.
You really are. You're wearing like no makeup and you're shining. Have you always been into natural products?
To be honest, no. So it's been, as cliche as it sounds, it's been quite a journey. So back in, I think it was 2017, I started a no makeup journey. And really it was just about making sure that I had good skin because I was stuck in bad cycles of getting bad skin, putting makeup on it, and it just getting worse. So once I was doing that, I fell into my dream job at L'Oreal, which is the #1 beauty company in the world.
I was researching you and I was like, I don't know if she was allowed to say where she was working. Okay, now I know.
I always say the #1 beauty company in the world because that's actually the fact. But yeah, I think I'm allowed to say where I previously worked.
Of course, absolutely.
So I previously worked at L'Oreal and that's what was simultaneously happening while I was going through a no makeup journey. And so it was like a kid in a candy store, all the different products. They've got 60 brands. And I learned so much about skincare, ingredients, what goes into our products, how to make them. And ultimately on that journey, I just learned what I don't want on my skin and things like fairy dusting, which you might not find on the internet, but basically it's where a company or a brand will sprinkle a part of an ingredient into it just so they can make claim where it's not actually the most predominant ingredient in there. So when I thought I was using certain products that would help my skin, turns out they were full of fragrance. And I just got more conscious about what I was putting on my skin and the effect. And yeah, that was back in 2017. So it hasn't happened overnight, but that was really what led me to start Good Living Only.
Yeah. And what made you want to go makeup free? Like what was that moment where you thought, I'm actually going to commit to this? And also how did you find your confidence in those moments?
I think I just got fed up with having bad skin. It was so conscious of my skin and how it affected my self-esteem and my confidence. And I was trying to, before this dream job, I was trying to get more confident with like public speaking and just being more growing in the corporate ladder in that time. And it was just little by little trying to get that confidence over time. So the moment was I was just fed up with having bad skin. I was stuck in this cycle of bad skin, putting makeup on it. And I was trying to get more confident with public speaking. And I was just really conscious about how my skin was. So I decided then and there that makeup is junk food from the skin, from what I learned from going through that journey. And if I wanted to be serious about having good skin health, I had to kind of quit all the bad habits, which were putting makeup on, not letting my skin breathe, falling asleep with makeup on, just more is more, layers upon layers. And it really was a journey to find the confidence in doing that. It sounds so silly, but I would like walk around the streets and practice no makeup on the weekends. And just even looking people in the eye when I didn't have makeup on was a really challenging thing to experience. And so it took a while to build that confidence, but slowly it was almost like exposure therapy. Slowly by slowly, I just got more comfortable in my own skin, which led me to being comfortable in, I guess, bare skin.
Yeah, I love that. And I've seen recently Pamela Anderson has really been at the forefront of this no makeup movement, which is incredible because, you know, she was the bombshell of the time. She always wear like a lot of makeup and now she's going natural. And it's great to have role models like that. So you were ahead of this.
But I just did it for myself. So I didn't really do it and when I say it's a journey, I didn't realize all the little things that would happen from then. So I didn't realize that my self-esteem was tied to how I looked and presented. I didn't know my confidence was so intrinsically linked to putting makeup on my skin. So when I made the decision, had I have known all the kind of layers I had to go and peel back and work through, I might not have done it. But it was just this moment of, I want to get good skin, and this is kind of the barrier to that. Let me do that. And then all these things flowed on from there, which was, okay, I'm actually not comfortable within my own body. I'm not confident within myself without makeup, realizing that I used it as a shield, or I've relied heavily on it for my confidence. So to see someone like Pamela Anderson step out on the world stage, it even got me to think, oh, maybe if I go to an event, I won't wear makeup, because that's generally the only time I wear makeup now. I'm like, oh, can I do that? So
yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
So inspiring to see that happen. So,
and you said you started in 2017. When I think back to 2017, I think that heavy makeup was definitely in, and we are seeing a strip back now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of talk about why we need to be using more natural products, and less is more when it comes to beauty. So going on from this, with your brand, Good Living Only, how did that come about? You obviously love skincare, but how did you go from loving it to actually creating a product?
it's a combination of my two passions and also my experience. So beauty and meditation. And so it took me a while to conceptualize what I actually wanted to bring to the world. That was a separate part. It was that I wanted to make something and have a business and work for myself. But really the kind of moment where it all spurred was, I was doing this skin journey. I was going makeup free. I went on a holiday and I came back and everyone was saying, your skin's glowing, you look amazing. And to the point where the compliments were really like obvious that it happened so frequently. I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing differently? I changed my lifestyle habits. I was eating better, sleeping better. But really it kind of just woke up my mind that, oh, it's from holiday. So that's when I realized that our mindset really affects our skin. And so when you go on holidays, this is where I did the deep dive into all this and just got fascinated by it. But when we're on holiday, we start to unwind, we start to relax, we start to decrease our stress. So our cortisol levels drop naturally. You're by the pool, reading a book, you're not checking emails. And that has a profound effect on our skin. So our skin's a mirror to our internal world. So if you're stressed, your skin's going to be stressed. And so once I started to make that correlation between what my mental state was, I was quite anxious and just going through those kinds of things. And my skin was like that. I wasn't wearing makeup. And so I could notice the difference when my skin would be dull and versus my mental state. And when I was happy and at peace, my skin had that natural glow. And that kind of spurred that way of thinking and that methodology, I guess, or philosophy. And then when I was conceptualizing what I wanted to bring into the world, I kept going back between beauty and meditation and how that could look. And I kept falling back onto beauty because I love it. But I just didn't want to bring a product out into the world that for no reason. We have enough moisturizer, we have enough serums. There's no reason to bring something else out like that. And so it wasn't until COVID hit when I was at home and I was doing a meditation course, and I was using the sheet mask as my reminder to get into my body and do my meditation for the day. And so slowly over time it became the sheet mask was my reminder to do that, and then also my self-care moment. And then I just had that light bulb moment. Why don't I combine the two? Because when you have a calm mind, you have calm skin. And I really wanted people to get into meditation, but there's so many barriers to it and people feel a bit icky about it sometimes that they don't realize if you've got a sheet mask on or you're going and getting a facial, you can't meditating. So that's how it all came about.
You know what I think about? I think about when I go to yoga and the teachers have just glowing skin, even if they haven't been on holidays. Their eyebrows are relaxed, and they look youthful.
Yeah,
because they're zen. Yeah, the radiance. So I love that correlation because I have a lot of people come on the podcast and talk about, diet will impact your skin or this sort of exercise will stress your body out, which may cause acne. But I really love that you're coming from your experience of being on holiday. We've all felt that. You come home and everyone's like, you look so relaxed.
Yeah.
You've got a glow about you. And it's like, I actually was drinking and eating out. I don't know
mindset.
why.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I was relaxed. I was probably getting enough sleep,
And instantly when you come back, they're like, oh, the holiday glow wears off. It's not because yes, the sun helps, but we live in a sunshine-filled place. It's not until you realize it's your mindset, what you've got on holiday. If you can bring that to your everyday life and try and bring those holiday moments to every day, you will have that same sort of skin that you get.
Yeah. So I love sheet masks. Your ones are beautiful. They feel so good on the skin.
Thank you.
So how often can we be doing them?
You can honestly do them as often as you want. But to give, I guess, some practical advice, I would say once a week. That's what I personally do. So I use it as my ritual around self-care. I'm quite busy with work and travel and things like that I need to have just a section of my week that I give to self-care opposed to most days. So I would do a Friday night. I'll get my sheet mask. I'll get my takeaway. I eat healthy all week. And then Friday night's my time to have some takeaway and put on the Kardashians, get in my robe. And that's my self-care moment. So once a week is a nice ritual just to even practice self-care.
So you've got 3 different types of masks. Can you run us through them and what are the different uses and purposes?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got Hydrate. Hydrate is the OG. It's been featured in Vogue, our most popular. Hydrate is for hydrating your skin. So it's got collagen, and our collagen's actually vegan, made from seaweed. Collagen, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, red algae extract. And then we've also got Relax. So that's more for soothing your skin, reducing redness. And so it's got calming ingredients in there like chamomile, ginseng, hyaluronic acid as well, Australian kakadu plum. And then we've got Bondi. So that is for after sun. So that's for sun irritation. You can also use it for after skin needling when you get that kind of red skin. I use this for when you're traveling, and you can pop them in the fridge to get that extra cooling effect. So that has got mountain pepperberry, vitamin B, aloe vera, and cucumber, and really calming product.
Yeah, I used the Relax one because it was like a Saturday night and Tom and I just had them on. It's so funny with the guy because they've got a beard.
I know. I almost thought to bring one out that was like half.
Yeah, he's like, I won't be touching the bottom half of my face. I was like, the top half of your face will be glowing.
They can actually cut it halfway and then just put the second part on their neck.
Oh, that's such a good hack. Yeah. Okay, I have to, for all the bearded men out there.
2 for 1.
2 for 1. So you were saying that a Friday night for you, to indulge a little bit, is having some takeaway and putting your mask on. You were opening up to me off mic about your journey going sober. Would you be happy to chat us through that on the mic?
Yeah. I mean, I love this topic so much. I'm trying to not make sobriety my personality, but it's slowly moving that way just because it's such a shift in your personal life and everything changes. But I guess my Friday nights used to look very different to what I just described you for anyone that's known me in a previous life. And so now I like to treat myself. I like to put a nice sheet mask on or get some takeaway, like get some beautiful Japanese food, or on my weekends I might go get a massage. And previous to the sobriety life, I would be like, I'd feel guilty almost for going and purchasing these things. But now I'm not spending it on a round of cocktails. And so those things you can do to make you feel good. And that's just, I think, a mindset shift of when people are drinking, it's quite easy to, or when I was drinking, should I say, it's quite easy to spend $100 on drinks. Whereas then you're looking at the organic section of the food or a self-care thing, and that's the same price tag. And people go, oh no, it's too expensive. And so it's just adjusting what you value. And that's kind of, I guess, besides changing up how I interact with friends and get my social connection, and all, I guess, the benefits that come with not drinking and how I feel good and I'm more energy and more motivated. That's, my Friday nights now are my kind of self-care night.
Yeah, well, it got me thinking because I was on set recently and I was saying how I don't really drink much, especially the first half of the year. I think I'd only had 1 glass of wine. And the team said, well, what do you do for fun? How do you socialize? And I said, I go for a matcha, I go for a walk, I go get breakfast, I cook someone a dinner, we have a sauna. But it's funny when people look at sobriety and they're like, but what do you do?
I was so paranoid of becoming a boring person when I didn't drink.
I love being a boring person. I own it. I'm like, I am a grandma in a 29-year-old's body.
It's so peaceful. The chaos that drinking used to bring to my life is not something that I miss. And if that's what I deemed as fun at one point, then yeah, my fun now is matchas and walks on the beach. And
no, like all my girlfriends know that once a week I matcha tour and I have to try out different matcha stores all over Sydney. That's like my favorite thing ever, and they have to be ceremonial grade.
That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, like maybe we'll have to hang out more. I also wanted to talk about that moment you thought, enough's enough. I actually am going to give no alcohol a go. I think the word sober can scare people. So, let's try be a month alcohol free. What was that moment for you?
It kind of just happened over time. I was starting Good Living Only, and so the stress levels are through the roof. It's the most amount of money I've ever spent to purchase product. So like my life savings are on the line, and then the time required to build a brand, to be on, you can't do that when you're hungover. So it kind of just naturally happened as I was building my business. And then once I got through the first year, I realized, I actually kind of need this sobriety to keep me motivated and going through that. So the business kind of propelled it. And then just living in the world of wellness, you just see how much of effects it has on your skin. So alcohol actually decreases our collagen production. And so if you're over 30, if there's anyone in this room, just me, okay. Yeah. Your collagen production stops after 30. It starts to decrease. So you don't produce any more. And so that stuff is liquid gold. It's what keeps your skin plump. It keeps it juicy, supple. That's where you get that glowing effect. It's why we've got collagen in our hydrate masks. So if you're drinking, it's depleting that collagen production. So you're damaging your skin. And I just got obsessed with what I could do to make my skin good. And yeah, if I'm there promoting sheet masks and talking about that and then having cocktails, it kind of just didn't align. So
there was a beautiful interview I saw where a guy asked a guy, how have you been with the same woman for 69 years? And he goes, I haven't. She changes every day. And I love that, because as people, we get so stuck in our identity in one way, but I truly believe you can wake up tomorrow and be that person you want to be. It's why I'm so big on vision boards. You have the choice every single day to be the person you want to be. And if drinking doesn't align with you, maybe ask yourself those questions. Am I drinking to fit in? Am I drinking to mask some emotions that are going on? Am I drinking because I'm, unhappy with my life? Ask those hard questions and then create a network of people around you who support those decisions. That's a big thing that I had to deal with in my life. I lost a lot of friends when my lifestyle changed. Like I used to be the girl at the end of the night partying. That was me. We're
probably on the same dance floor.
Yeah, I mean, probably across paths. But we're probably so lit, we didn't see each other. But, that's how I felt. So I want to ask you, how did you navigate this new lifestyle and maybe the people you had to let go of?
Yeah, that one's really hard. I'll try not to cry on the podcast.
We always have a cry on the self-dom.
It's still emotional because you don't want people to think of you in a different light just because you've changed it. Sorry. Just because you've changed your lifestyle. So one, I don't like labels. So it took me a very long time to say I don't drink. I still don't really say that because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't want to be, I'm this, and no room for flexibility. You're allowed to change in your life. But navigating friendships where you're almost pigeonholed to be a certain person, that was hard to navigate. So the friendships I guess I've maintained, the ones that have that growth mindset and allow you to grow and change. And it doesn't matter if you drink or don't drink. It doesn't change your fundamental or the fabric of your relationship. So that's been a really beautiful. And then on the other hand, there's a lot of people that I only caught up when I was drinking. And so it's kind of just naturally fallen away because we don't have that common thing. And yeah, I think sometimes it's uncomfortable to grow and you lose people and that's uncomfortable, but ultimately you're creating space for more aligned people to come in. And that's not to say that those friendships won't come back around in another form. I've got girlfriends that when I first stopped drinking, it was really point of contention of you've changed and And I had to stay on this journey of like, no, this is right for me. I feel good about it. And those friendships have come back around. They're not drinking, or they're just seeing my way of being and not being so, I guess, triggered by me presenting another option. And so I've kind of come to learn also that sometimes those people that go away, it's because you're presenting something to them that they want, but they actually can't do. And so you're almost like a threat. It's like, I can't be around this person because they're showing me the areas where I'm lacking or that I'm missing out on. So yeah, it's been really interesting to navigate. And yeah, you wouldn't think that stopping having a drink would change your friendships, but yeah, it can.
I think a lot of people will be able to resonate with that and a feeling into that. So going on a little bit from there, I want to talk about you as a meditation and a breathwork coach.
Yeah.
When did you study this and how did it come about?
So it was everything. I think I just changed my life completely when I decided to go no makeup free.
So 2017 was like
2017 's
iconic
like
for you, Jess. It
all
all happened.
Be a new person. But at the time that I was going no makeup, I became really aware of the anxiety that I had. I think because I took the makeup off and I was so bare. So it really heightened things mentally for me that I started doing yoga. And I loved the bit at the end, the shavasana.
I mean, we all love a good shavasana.
So I was doing yoga and I wasn't very good at it at the time. So I was really just looking forward to that bit at the end. And once I realized, oh, that's meditation and mindfulness. And I was in a HR role and we were bringing mindfulness to the sales teams. So I was actually running the sales teams through mindfulness scripts. And so these two things combined started to just give me a more awareness of what mindfulness does, what meditation is, how I feel when I do it. And it started to quieten that anxiety. So I was using it as a personal tool to just help me through breathing when things got elevated. And then, yeah, moving into a new role, I just really doubled down on it. I was, taking people through mindfulness and I wanted that backing. I wanted to have some paper behind me. And so I went and did a meditation course. And part of the course, you had to meditate for 30 minutes a day. I think it was 60 hours you had to do part of the course. So it just really gave me a deeper sense of practice than what I'd previously done. And in that time, I was just unearthing trauma. Like in that 30 minutes, it was just a really profound shift in my life. And so I went through kind of a self-discovery journey whilst I was doing the meditation teaching course. And I got to the end of it, I'm like, I'm a completely different person. Like my anxiety doesn't exist. I've healed a lot of those parts. And so I just became so passionate about wanting other people to do that. I want no one to experience anxiety. I want everyone to feel that calmness. And when I get super passionate about things, I don't shut up about it. So I was like, how can I bring this to the masses? How can I tell everyone? And teaching was that vessel to have other people experience that elation from, I guess, freeing yourself from your own mind.
Yeah, it's really special you've been able to combine beauty and your love for meditation. It almost feels serendipitous that was the product that you created.
Yeah, well, it was, my two passions combined. So it just made sense to me.
I think a lot of people can be skeptics. I will be the first one to put my hand up. Before I did meditation and breathwork, I was like, that is such woo-woo shit.
Yeah.
And then now I do it. I've had some of the biggest life shifts and realizations in those moments. So for the skeptics, I want you to dive into a little bit of the science. What actually happens when we do these breathwork and meditation practices?
So I was a skeptic as well. So I can see the journey that people take to get on board with this. Experience is what made me so passionate about it. And then I looked up all the science and that later. So it was just by doing that I fell in love with it. And so the science, I guess, mostly stress reducing. So it reduces your stress. So the cortisol that we talked about before, mindfulness, meditation, breath work, they all help to reduce your stress levels and decrease your cortisol. It can help to lower blood pressure. It can also help with your immunity. So when we're just going our day to day, we're not conscious of our breathing. The breathing techniques that help is that deep belly breathing. It's oxygenating the body. And what we find is people are quite shallow when they breathe. It's that quick, it's top heavy. So you're actually not getting your breath down to your belly. And what you can find is, or what they found, is that effect of breathing will have an effect on your immunity. So it triggers the inflammation in your body, which then affects your immunity. So if you're not breathing properly, you can get sick, more sick. So just doing breathing practices can actually help to reduce that. There is a whole range of things, but I'll just rattle some things off. So helps with PTSD and trauma. So by actually dropping into meditation and getting into those brain waves, it will help you get to your subconscious where you can start to release trauma, things you've repressed from your childhood. The brain is very powerful in protecting us. Our ego is very powerful in making sure that we don't deal with things that are hard that we've gone through in our life. And sometimes until you do a meditation or a breath work, you actually don't know what you've got stored in your body. And so it's a very powerful tool to extract those things that we're just not conscious of. It really helps with trauma and PTSD. They actually have, when war veterans come back, they use breathing techniques to help them with their triggers. And it's more just that reactivity piece. So when they're sitting in a meditation, they can identify their triggers and sit there with their reactivity. And then they've also done studies that from monks' brains, Tibetan monks, versus novice brains. So they go through MRI scanning. And mind you, these monks have been meditating for years. So their brains are completely different to someone that's just starting meditation today. But they've actually shown that the structural brain changes. So our brains are moldable and the pathways can change. So they've got a thicker prefrontal cortex. So the gray matter is thicker, and that just helps with cognitive ability. It makes us be able to function a lot better. So it doesn't happen overnight. I say to anyone I can't meditate, it's like going to the gym. So it's like training a muscle. You don't walk into the gym thinking you're going to have a six-pack after one workout. It's the same for meditation. You still need to practice it over time to get better and build that muscle or your brain. It's a muscle.
Yeah, I've been prepping for a gratitude workshop that I'm hosting, and I use that analogy with the mind. It's just so funny to me that we think that we can do these breathwork or meditation once and we'll be enlightened, but it's not. It's like any other muscle in the body. Repetition. Our body loves repetition.
Yeah.
The more bicep curls you do, your bigger your bicep goes, you know? Us girls who want a booty, you got to squat. It's the same with your mind. You know, you want to be in that good mental state and see the world glass half full. You've got to just continue with the practice and really trust the practice. And something else that came to mind is I did a breathwork session and everyone shared their experience. And one of the girls was saying that she was really toying with this idea of having children. It's been a really, stressful question in her mind. And when she was doing the breath work, I literally had goosebumps thinking about it. She felt her kids hugging her and they said to her, "We'll come when we're ready."
Oh my gosh.
Like people have these crazy moments, realizations, awakenings, and the science is one thing to persuade the skeptics, but I truly believe it's experience and like those stories that can get someone to commit and be like, okay, maybe I'll start with a 5-minute body scan and lead my way up to that half an hour that you did and you found so powerful. But there are so many options for people to do. I did want to ask, for someone who is new to meditation and you've now inspired them, they're like, okay, I'm going to give it a go. What is the best way to start your meditation journey?
Just starting with any sort of practice. So I always say to people, try and just do 5 minutes, put a timer on, put some music on, just do 5 minutes. Even if that's too hard, just do 2 minutes. Just get some sort of consistency around closing down your eyes, focusing on your breath and just getting into your body. Because a lot of people just don't do that. It's just so simple. It's like when I run a breathwork or meditation class and everyone's like, yeah, breathing, got it. And then I'll go around to them and I'll put my hands on their chest and I'll get them to just start to breathe. And then I get their rhythm, they slow down, and then I'll pop my hand on their belly and I'll get them to whisper and just say, breathe into your belly, because they're not breathing that deep belly breath. And then, you just see them, their body just softens and you see them actually breathe. So it's just consistently trying to do 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then build up from there. Go to a class and find a style that works for you. I was listening to a couple of your other podcasts and people can get quite passionate about the type of meditation they do, and no meditation's bad. It's whatever works for you, but just try different styles. It might be music. It might be a guided one. It might be just silence. It might be that you're actually not comfortable with that and you might need to do a walking meditation. it's just finding ways that you can have mindful moments, start to slow down how your brain is thinking and your breathing, and find out how it works for you.
Yeah, I love how you said when you go around to people and you get them to just relax, everything relaxes, and it's kind of the exact mentality of Good Living Only, where you do the meditation and like you just relax. So of course the ingredients make it amazing, but as well you're just relaxing.
You're getting in your body, that physical presence. It sounds so simple, but the physical presence of having a mask on your face reminds me to be in my body. So sometimes when I meditate now, I'm so flighty. I've got a million things. It takes me a while to actually drop into the practice. When I do it with a sheet mask, I'm like, okay, cool, mask's on. I need to switch off my brain and actually get into this practice. And so I find the physical reminder helps me slow down a lot quicker.
Well, I think moving on from that, I want to ask you, as a woman in business, how do you find balance and what are your favorite self-care rituals?
Well, I think I've just incorporated it to be my lifestyle now. So I was thinking, what do I actually do that's self-care? And it's everything. Yeah, the sheet masking, having a bath, sauna. I sauna quite a lot.
How often?
Maybe every second night.
Okay, that's great. Do you have one at the house?
Yeah.
That helps.
So I'm a little bit spoiled. But I find it's just such a nice way to detox, and it's so relaxing, and I just feel so invigorated afterwards.
Same. I feel like we've also got one here.
Love that.
And for me, it's when I get at like 3 p.m. I'm over the day. I just can't. So I put the sauna on. I know it takes 45 minutes to heat up. That's like a timer. Okay, do your work for 45, another 45, and you get your reward. And after the sauna, I feel so energized, refreshed. It's like, there's nothing better. It's one of the main things I try and encourage the community to do. If you haven't tried a sauna, try it. And there are ways to do it affordably. Like, Icebergs has the community ones, but a lot of gyms have community ones.
You go find an old, what are they called? The
traditional Swiss saunas.
Yeah, they're in like gymnasiums and sports centres. They're normally at pools. They cost like $5, $10 for entry. So you don't have to go and do the infrared and a bougie day spa. There are access to that. So definitely saunaing.
I think as well for you at your business, it's scientifically proven to reduce your cortisol going in a sauna. And I'm sure like being a woman entrepreneur and having your business, you have moments where you're like, I just need to reduce the stress.
Yeah. And so it is a nice way to wind down. I think that's probably why I do it so often. But other times I need to be motivated because you're working for yourself. So I'll go for a swim in the ocean, and that's cold therapy. So the contrast. So you've got heat therapy, cold therapy, walking. I try and get off my phone as often as possible. So I'm notorious for a do not disturb. You can't really contact me sometimes. I take 3 to 5 business days to reply. I just don't like being on my phone constantly, and I will try and have the mornings off my phone so that I'm not training my brain to get that dopamine hit. I'm a dopamine fiend, so I try and do things to limit that, having timers on my apps so I don't go over consumption. Eating well, I like to meal prep, read, relax, just kind of live in the slow lane because life is so fast.
I think as well, going back to not drinking,
and
you have more time to actually do those self-care practices. I think a lot of people listen to wellness podcasts and like, I don't have time though. Sauna, ice bath, walk, massage, swim in the ocean. It's like,
that's all done by 10 a.m.
And as well, it's if you're deciding not to drink, you're not hungover on a Sunday, and you can do those things. So weighing up the pros and cons of both, I think, is so valuable and a really good lesson for all of us. Again, going back and asking yourself. And that's why the meditation is amazing, because you're going inside and you see what you truly want and what you truly desire.
And that was when I was drinking. I think that's kind of what led me to not drinking, is I had this version of myself that I wanted to be, where I felt great. And then I would be doing it whilst drinking. And so So you were doing like the meditation and the yoga and things while you were... So you would go hungover? And it's so... I look
how
at it
crazy
now,
we could do that. Like, if I have one drink, I'm hungover. I'm like, how... I was the same. I could have a big night, get to my Pilates in the morning and just burn... You're literally running on adrenals.
Yeah. And that's where you approach burnout. And it was so, I look back now and I'm like, what a crazy person. I used to do, when I was running, I used to do my best runs after a night hungover. I'd run 8Ks. I'm literally got it in my phone. Like I would be running so much to make up for a night of drinking. And so it's not a healthy mindset either. You're like punishing yourself. Yeah. And so I'd always go to that yoga class, go to the gym, whatever it was. And I just realized I wasn't getting anywhere. It was kind of just neutral. It wasn't until I was in Bali and a friend has a gym there and we're like, how do we get a 6-pack on this holiday? And he goes, well, you're drinking every day, so you're just going to maintain. He's like, yeah, you're training every day, but you're depleting yourself, so you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So we have to stop drinking to get results. And then, yeah, I would be embarrassingly just at the bar being like, I've got to go home because I've got a meditation class tomorrow. Yeah. And then people be like, buy a round of drinks, and you get stuck there. And so I'd be telling people I've got meditation class tomorrow. This is before I did the teacher course, when it was just a personal practice, and it would just go out the window, or you would go hungover and you're not getting that benefit. So it was just really this kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul scenario where you're just not getting anywhere. So like you said, once you cut that alcohol part out, which is probably why I'm so passionate about that as well, is you have so much time to actually invest in your health and wellness and see results. And so you eat better. You have more time to cook a nice meal because you're not just going, oh, I'll order takeaway because I could not be stuck in the kitchen for 2 hours with this headache. And you just make better decisions by proxy. So
I wonder if you felt the same as me, because I feel like we were the same person in our past life, where I feel like it was balanced to me because I was going to that class the next day. So I felt like, you know, you're still getting to do both. But now I've realized it's not balanced because I was running myself to the ground. Yeah. Now if I do decide to have a few drinks, allow myself to have a rest day the next day. Like there's no need to punish because it's a once in a blue moon.
And that's what when you said about going to Europe. And I'm very conscious not to be like so self-righteous about not drinking and I'll never drink again, because life is flexible. And so you do need balance. It's just a different level of balance. My balance was go hard both ends, like party till 4 a.m, go run 8Ks the next day. That's not sustainable. Whereas now, if I wanted to have a drink, then the next day, you might be kind to yourself and have a day where you rest and then have the next few weeks off. Like your balance perception changes.
Absolutely. I honestly feel like I could pick your brain about the sober topic like all day, but I'm going to go back to my final question.
Yes.
I always ask the guests, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I'll stay on the sobriety piece.
We love it.
I go in two minds because I had a very fun life, that version of fun, and met a lot of people. And so you never want to look back on life with regret. But my God, I wish I told my younger self to just not drink that much, to just take it a bit easy, to value yourself and put yourself first and not just drink because that's the pressure from other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so proud of you, Jess. Like I'm sitting here really proud of you and for everything you're doing. Good Living Early, it's an incredible product. I've used it. I love it. It's just the perfect way to habit stack. All I want to do right now is take off my makeup and do a sheet
I got
mask.
a little bit on today and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have worn any.
No, you look beautiful.
So are you.
Jess has been an angel and she's giving the Self-Dom community 20% off. So if you use Self-Dom at checkout, you get 20% off Good Living Only. If you don't already, make sure you follow Good Living Only and Jess Jackson _glow. Her content is inspiring and knowledgeable. And thank you so much for joining me on Self-Dom today.
Thank you so much.
Bye.